There has been an insane amount of Hytale news recently. Account creation, supporter and curse breaker benefits, name reservation, 50-player servers, and somehow even more. Naturally, all this came out right before my exams, so without further ado, I'm Muffled Muffin. Hytale will release in 34 days. Welcome to the initially daily, but quickly approaching weekly Hytale update. Starting with account creation, Dev/Null announced that they were opening their account system and that tokens for name reservation would come out over the next few days. These tokens are a challenge for the team. Stick around to learn how to get one. He also confirmed that Hugo, a Spanish Hytale YouTuber who works for Nox Crew, the team behind MCC, created the first Hytale account, and Simon expressed his congratulations to Hugo on Twitter. Simon also mentioned that despite using Epic Games as login services, Hytale will not be on the Epic Games launcher. Dev/Null told us that we can have more than one game profile under one account. Accounts hold your authentication and are how you sign into the game. Game profiles themselves are tied to usernames, avatar, and game information such as worlds. This makes switching between alternate accounts very easy. Keep in mind, you will still have to buy the game individually for each game profile. They will just be stored in a unified space. Dev/Null elaborated on how name reservation tokens will work, saying that they are one-time use and one per account. This seems like an oversight because people will make multiple accounts now to get more usernames because I know a ton of people signed up for the beta with more than one email. Players who signed up for the beta or Hypixel MC forums back in the day will receive emails from Riot Games or Hypixel with tokens. The box that you can check to receive news about Hytale when you create your Hytale account is confirmed to be unrelated to the username reservation and token system. Instead of signing up to the newsletter, you can subscribe to my channel to hear about all of the news from their newsletter and more. The Hytale Twitter then announced account creation was public and posted this cute screenshot of a builder Quebec and a house in construction with some bamboo fences in front of it. Simon hopped onto Twitter to express his surprise at the number of people that were signing up for Hytale and said that name reservation will begin rolling out this week. Many creators' names have been reserved, hopefully including mine, because I was super late to the party for both beta assignment and Hytale account creation. The supported creator program is also ready and will be formally announced and opened for applications soon, hopefully before pre-orders begin. Simon also reminded us that this is a true early access experience, so make sure to keep your expectations super low for the game. Slikey told us that tokens are not tied to emails and can be used on any account. This also means that technically you could transfer extra tokens to your friends if you signed up for the beta 67 times, which will allow them to get cool usernames as well. Hicoins will not be a thing, despite there being a disclaimer including virtual currency when you make your account. Hopefully Hicoins never end up in Hytale, because virtual currencies are super exploitive and generally uncool, in my opinion at least. When it comes to banning players from servers, Slikey says that generally speaking, game profiles will be banned rather than whole Hytale accounts, which is interesting considering the player could have more than one game profile, although I guess account creation is free anyways, so it doesn't really make a difference. In serious cases, Hytale will issue a full account ban, which would cover all game profiles, but my guess is that these cases would mostly be actual illegal activity rather than excessive trolling or inappropriate content. Hypixel has been working with server providers to allow for server hosting subscriptions to be introduced into Hytale on day one. There will be no first-party service because other companies will be able to offer cheaper prices and Hypixel can focus all their resources on making a great game this way. Players will be able to run multiple instances of the game at once, which could be useful for having spectator accounts, record building time-lapses, although I do hope that there is some way to record time-lapses using the machinima tools. Players who signed up to the beta were asked to re-register around 2023. Simon explained this further, saying that the second list was about 67% smaller than the first, and many people never got the re-registration email. To compensate, Hypixel will be providing tokens to people who make Hytale accounts through their website. Simon's reasoning against having a first-come, first-served username system when pre-orders start is that it would definitely crash their website, so they've done the best they can to make it fair to everybody. Name reservation tokens are being sent out this week to new Hytale accounts in order of creation as well as through old mailing lists. Slikey mentioned that the whole account system had been created within the last 3 months, which is why it may be a little rough around the edges. So if you do find any issues, just mention it on Twitter and you should have a fix pretty shortly. Now back to news from before Hytale accounts were announced, starting with the official Hytale Twitter, which posted a minute-long video demoing all of the capes that players will be able to wear at launch. The cape designs are super awesome, and they look absolutely amazing in motion, so props to all the designers who cooked up these designs and animations. They also posted a bunch of screenshots of the outfits that players will be able to choose from, including the Force Guardian and Voyager sets for the Standard Edition players, the Scavenger, Featherbound, and Arctic Scout sets for Supporter Edition players, and the Hope of Gaia, Void Hero, and Popstar sets for Cursebreakers. Higher editions will also have access to lower editions outfits. Simon said color palette modifications for these sets do not exist, but there are extra colors that you can pick, and palettes may be considered later. Polina, a VFX artist for Hytale, mentioned that you can mix and match all the pieces of the new sets. She also mentioned that player models will have 64 by 64 resolutions, although now that I think about it, I'm not sure how that translates to capes and other non-square shapes, but I'm sure we'll figure out once the game comes out. YouTuber Prowl8413 floated the idea of having wardrobes in Hytale so that you can swap between saved cosmetic sets while in-game, which Simon said was already included in their long-term plans. Someone asked if Hytale would have moving structures. Slikey replied that they would like to eventually allow movable structures, but it currently has no timeline, which I would guess slates it for development after Hytale's full release. Hytale's full OST will be available soon on Spotify, according to Oscar Garvin, Hytale's composer. Simon again said that players will have to make avatars using traditional video game means, which he stresses will be good in the long run, but I disagree, because one of the best things about Minecraft is how customizable player skins can be. Pretty much every YouTuber is immediately recognizable by their Minecraft skin. Simon notes that we have to trust him that this will allow for some cool features, but I will miss being able to have my muffled muffin skin, which I'm certain won't be reproducible in Hytale's avatar system. It can be modded in, but that's just not the same, you know? Slikey explained that Hytale will not be on more platforms at launch, because they would need to make a separate renderer for each console, and they would have to maintain them as they update the game. He also spoke about the impossibility of open sourcing Hytale's client, due to them using many libraries which are bound to NDAs. He could imagine the team hiring modders under NDA in the future to take their mods to the next level, but otherwise there are no plans to share it with the public. The Hytale Twitter gave us our daily screenshot, teasing that they would be telling us more about Hytale's farming and cozy feeling soon. In the screenshot we can see a farm with a large variety of plant life and a wooden fence that I absolutely love the look of. Hopefully these fences will contain animals like they do in Minecraft. In the back of the farm we can see some scarecrows. I wonder if these scarecrows have a functionality, or if they just exist to sit still and look pretty. Either way, it would be super cool if we could equip them with the same cosmetics that we can use on our own avatars. Simon spoke a little about campfires, agreeing that they should be useful for something other than cooking, and saying that he had ideas that they would add to adventure mode later on. In response to somebody's brainstorming, Simon admitted that he had plans of his own, but didn't want to get quoted for years to come. Simon stated that clops still exist and did not elaborate any further, and we know nothing about clops, so I can't elaborate on that either. Thomas Frick commented on some lore theories regarding the symbols on some of the capes. The theory was that 3 of the capes had the Evil Contained rune on them, but it was pointed out that one had a spiral rather than a diamond within the 2 shapes. Thomas said that they might be variations of the Evil Contained symbol, with the diamond representing Varanai and the spiral representing the Void. It is cool to see that these presumably new assets still contain runes connected to the lore, hopefully implying that at least some of the publicly revealed concepts will stay relevant through the lore reset. Slikey went on to speak about playing with friends in early access, saying that they are making a video to show us how it works. He explained that he can press escape and click online play, where there is a join code that can be shared with his friends. This system may not work if your internet router does not support universal plug and play, and Slikey recommends asking the AI chatbot of your choice if your specific router does. The Hytale server owner's manual will be coming later than initially expected, because they are still finding some performance issues with higher player counts. The last Hytale test had 56 players and showed the misbehaving systems, which made their data irrelevant. Even though the server wasn't stable, the fact that Hytale servers are getting that many players on them is very encouraging. Of course, there are use cases for bigger servers, but for early access, 50 players is more than most of us need. Simon reconfirmed that mods will be distributed separately to Hytale for launch. CurseForge is a common example, but will be distributed in-game later. Mods are generally not going to break too much when Hytale receives updates, and there will be a policy set by the Hypixel team to mitigate issues. They will not follow this policy for the first few months of early access so that they can fix problems as fast as possible, but will try to follow it in the future. Modders will be able to access upcoming releases to ensure that their mods are compatible with updates and have some time to fix it before they come out if they are incompatible. Slikey told us even more about modding, and for once I actually understand what he's saying. The number of tweets from him that I haven't covered because I don't understand what he's saying at all is astronomical. He said that once mods have been added to Hytale from CurseForge, you can select the mods that you want for single player, presumably within Hytale. Once that happens, any friends that join will automatically get a copy of those mods so that they can experience everything in your world. You won't be downloading any jar files that may cause security risks, only asset packs, which Slikey claims has no security risk. I lack the expertise to say if he's correct or not, but if it is an exploitable system, I'm sure that we'll very quickly learn about it and the team will fix it as soon as possible. Dev/Null spoke about parental controls. Account linking has been built into their system, and parental control features will be added alongside their relevant features. They'll also notify parents whenever features expand to allow adjustments to permissions as they see fit. The last code library preventing Hytale from running on Mac and Linux was removed from Hytale, with a Linux build completed and a Mac build in the works. There is still no confirmation for Macs and Linux support at launch, but that is becoming much more probable according to Slikey. They need to do more testing and will keep us updated on the whole situation with those two platforms. Slikey continues to say Steam Deck is still a tough platform to work with due to its small screen size, controller controls, and battery optimization, but technically players will be able to try Hytale on the Steam Deck. It is weird to me that he mentioned battery life because many people will be playing Hytale on a laptop, and as one of those people, it would be great to be able to play for more than 30 minutes on battery power alone. I would have thought that they'd considered that already, but it seems not. Perchance. Mac is a priority to the team because RAM prices are going crazy currently, which is making MacBooks exceptionally good value compared to other options. As someone who needs to upgrade my RAM, I agree wholeheartedly that they should consider this, as I'm a broke college student and cannot afford to upgrade my RAM. Slikey spoke a little more about Hytale's Linux support, saying that all modding and content is the exact same thing as on Windows. He defended their choice of using Flatpak to build Hytale on Linux rather than Proton to port the Windows version over, and generally, I'm starting to get the vibes that Slikey regrets pursuing a native Linux version because Linux users seem to doubt every single decision he makes. The Hytale team is also targeting Linux x86 and Mac ARM64 architectures first, with all operating systems being covered on both x86 and ARM64 in the future. That is all of the Hytale news from the last 4 days, and gosh, it was a lot. Unfortunately, I have 6 finals coming up, so it is unlikely my video frequency will survive this period. Maybe I'll get a couple videos in there, but I don't know. After that, things will get better. Optimism! So please subscribe, it really helps with my motivation. Until next time, go make yourself a Hytale account if you haven't already, and stay hypey.